And next, I have another vlog that you did, because nobody posted but me in between then, which is really weird because usually if somebody's not posting, well, I mean, often as not, it's me, but nobody else posted but me, which is wow. But then you posted, Victoria, like always, because you're so awesome about that. You posted on Thursday, August 13th. And speaking of that, about you posting when nobody else does, I got to say, I really appreciate how you just take time out of your schedule, even if you're busy or tired and stuff. You just take time to include us in your life, and I really appreciate that. It's, even though I don't get to see you very often, it's, I don't know, it makes us feel like we're closer. I mean, don't get to see you very often. I've seen you like once, twice, something like that. Not enough, not nearly enough, which is why we have to arrange these face-to-face thingies. And Christmas break, something there. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Vlog responses. I love the poem in the beginning, the graduation one. Did you write that yourself? And wow, I accidentally said the stuff that was actually about that vlog in the previous vlog response, so I don't have anything else to say about that one. Saturday, August 15th was Francis. Francis, I was so excited to hear that you took out all those marvelous books from the library, especially Ishmael, because once you read it, we absolutely have to discuss it. And yes, I would love to discuss that with you. It's the sort of book that you really have to discuss after you've read it. And Odd Thomas is not a horror story. I don't know why it was in the horror section, but it's certainly not horrifying. And in fact, now that you said that you took out those books from the library that you have to read before school starts, I think I might just wait to send you my fantasy story, the first couple chapters of it, until you come to school, to give you a bit more reading time to read those before you come to school, because you must read those. You must read those books. They are very important. Okay, so now that's all the responses I have. As you notice, it's run over into a second vlog, just a little bit. Okay, kind of a lot bit, but that was kind of expected, actually. Sorry. So anyway, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about the coming to school experience, about my room, about everything that's happened here. Yeah. So first of all, I came to school, and it was very hot, and we were moving heavy things like refrigerators, which is right up there where you can't see it, and couches, which are actually lighter than the refrigerator, weirdly enough. Even though the refrigerator is pretty, well, it's not a big one. And moving all kinds of crazy things. Even moving my whole bed into the air so that it could be lofted. It's actually above my head right now. 5:30, I was supposed to meet everybody for dinner. And it was kind of weird. I got there just about on time, but most everybody was really late. It was a weird reversal kind of thing going on. I ended up waiting with like 3 other people for everybody else. But we finally went in for dinner about 15 minutes after we were supposed to, and ate, and then we went in for a meeting, which was kind of, I don't remember exactly what we talked about. I think we went over an old newspaper and threw out suggestions, what we liked, what we didn't like, just so we can try to see what direction we want the newspaper to go in this year. I was supposed to wake up to my alarm going off, but instead I woke up 48 minutes after I was supposed to wake up because I accidentally set my clock to PM instead of AM. It happens like every year. I don't know why. I don't know how it still happened, and I was late. But I wasn't later than everybody else. I was perfectly on time by comparison to everybody else. We're journalists. I mean, newspaper. You'd think that newspaper journalist people would be like super obsessive about deadlines and stuff. I mean, that's like their life, but guess not. Yeah, so we had another meeting, this one a bit more extensive than the last one. We talked about like newspaper ethics and stuff like that, about what to write about, what stories will take priority. We had like these ridiculous scenarios, like if Princess Diana died on the same day as Mother Teresa died, which happened on the same day as a nearby college president was convicted of having, of what was it? He was convicted of some bunch of stuff, including like leading a human trafficking ring. If all three of those things happened on the same day, which one would we give priority to? And there ended up being like a ridiculous number of variables. We just had a discussion. Eventually, we broke up into groups to go to different places to take pictures of things and gather information about local events, like not events, but local happenings, like local go-to places and stuff. My group went to Villanova University or college or something, which ended up being really gorgeous. And they've got like all this awesome architecture and stuff. The main destination that we had when we were going there, based on what we were told, was an art gallery. Well, we were looking for it, but on our way there, we saw this chapel thing. We went inside, and this guy, he ended up giving us a tour, which was interesting and informative and a wee bit long. But the church was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, so we got a bunch of nice pictures there. And we walked out of the church and saw that it was downpouring. Positive downpour. We didn't want to walk in that. We had a camera, like a super expensive camera, professional type thing. We didn't want to bring the camera out in that. We waited under a ledge thingy for 10 minutes for the rain to stop. It didn't stop, so we just went for it. And after getting thoroughly soaked, we finally found the art gallery, which was ridiculously disappointing. It was this rather small room with stuff from one artist, and I don't have the pictures myself. The other guy in the group took them. But the pieces were, for instance, like 41 tea bags lined up on the wall. They were used tea bags. They were dipped in white acrylic paint and hung from the wall with a bunch of knitting needles or something. No, they weren't knitting needles, but they had something to do with knitting, and they were needles or pins or something. And they were all numbered, and that was the whole thing. And it wasn't even like arranged artistically. It was just like in a row. And that whole thing was to be sold for like $500 or something. And there was a little piece of driftwood that she was trying to sell for $300. It was just like this little ugly piece of driftwood, $300. Ugh. You could find more interesting wood just by walking into the woods for like 30 seconds. And there were 3 corked bottles right next to each other. One of them held air. One of them held little pill capsules with music cut up, rolled inside of them. And the third one had a bunch of dead ladybugs. I don't know. That was also $300. As were 3 rocks stacked on top of each other, about this big. I'm getting smaller up. $300 for 3 rocks. And our absolute favorite was this random, ugly, completely undecorated, weird piece of fabric that was hanging from the wall, and that was $2,000. So it was it was only worth it, and that it was so funny just how ridiculous and expensive everything was in there. It was not worth running through the rain for. So we're going to write an article about how the campus is lovely, and it'd be a nice place to spend time when it's not raining. And don't go to the art gallery because you'll be disappointed unless they get a better artist in there. And then I came back here and started catching up on vlogs. So that's been my time here at Eastern so far. And that's pretty much all I have to talk about, I think. But in a couple seconds, you are going to get to see around my room. I will see you tomorrow. And I will see Kara tomorrow too, even though it's not on the vlog, but Love y'all.